Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business, Building a Brand vlog. This one, big number 331, and I've said it once and I've probably said it 6,000 times, that you can teach blind kittens to read, but somebody would have a problem with it. Today, gentlemen, we're gonna talk a little bit about the cancellation situation that we got going on at Tiege Hanley, and just want to give you a little update on that. I also want to give you a little house update because some big things are happening. I should say, actually, I think I need to change the name of this channel, right? It's Tiege Hanley Starting a Business and Building a House, because I've been talking a lot about it, but you guys seem to dig it. So today I want to show you this a little bit before we get into the cancellation situation. It is kind of like a lookbook for the house. Last Friday, my wife and I went to our designer's office with our builder, with our general contractor, and had a big meeting. The meeting was basically like the big reveal of essentially like what everything is going to look like inside the house. They went room by room by room and showed us the tile, the light fixture, the flooring, the wall, what the fireplaces are going to like. They really did a great job. Now, it's not 100% flushed out, and there were some things that we're going to change because I was like, I don't really love those lights that you picked out for the above the island in the kitchen. But it was a really amazing meeting. It was like 2 hours long, and it really started to get my wife and I excited. Like, I was sitting next to my wife, and I'm just like hitting her, like, because we're looking at this presentation. I'm just like, look, like it's really exciting for me. And so before I get into this cancellation situation, do you want to take a look and kind of see what the hell? Oh my God, something else big just happened yesterday. Remember last vlog or 2 vlogs ago when I was talking about, there's this pipe we got to move, and there's this left side, and I got to have the city, the school board actually vote to approve the easement, which will allow me to move the pipe to the property line. So the big vote was last night. And so I've got an incredible relationship with the chief operating officer, Chuck, at the city. And he's been assuring me, he's like, all right, I think we're going to be good. They're reasonable people. I'll be presenting the easement and tell the people, or the board members what you're going to be doing. And we just need them to vote. There are 7 board members. We need 4 to say yes to get it basically passed through. And so I've been all nervous, like all day, right? I'm like, okay, here it is. Like, what happens if they don't say yes? Okay. And so literally last night around like 7:30, it's starting to get late. I'm like, no email or no text from Chuck saying that they're good. And so I was literally sitting there on my couch, eating dinner, looking at the plans or the site plan to be like, okay, what could I change in order to fit everything? And I was about ready to chop a garage off of the house because I'm like, all right, if they don't approve this, I've got to do something because this is going to literally drag the process on another like month and a half if I've got to re-engineer everything. But good news, at around 7:45 last night, I get an email from our boy Chuck that said, we're good, but you got to pay $1,055 for the easement to the city. And I said, no big deal. He was actually trying to get that not to happen because I'm going to be spending a lot on the landscaping. But the attorney for the city was like, nope, he's got to pay for the square footage that basically we are going to be granting him access to. And so no big deal. I told Chuck a while ago, I'm like, look, for $1,000, like I'm good, let's just go, right? And so anyway, that got approved. And so now we can resubmit the pipe location plan to the city with the agreement. They can approve it. And then we're going to submit everything to the city for approval and permitting. But now, why don't I show you what the place is actually going to look like inside? All right, so this is kind of like the feel and the look of the kitchen, all right? I did not like these big pendants with those like rope looking things, but essentially you're going to have the hood. It's going to be like a brushed like steel with brass. I love old antique brass, and so we're going to have that in the pantry. The faucet's going to look like that. This is actually a rendering of looking into the kitchen with the hood sort of there. These are not the colors for the cabinets and stuff. And then on either side of the hood, you're going to have these like bronze or brass lights. All right, just the fireplace, that's going to be like the mantle, and then over top of the dining room we're going to have these cool like drippy pendants, which is kind of sexy. For the dining room, they actually gave us a few different options in terms of layout. That's the one we're going with because my wife wants a big table for holiday meals. Another picture of a mantle. My office. Now, this is one of the issues. I wanted to look out of the front window. But after doing everything and trying to lay everything out, because the rooms are not like perfectly like square, because we've got this like kind of like curved action in this window right here, we ended up deciding to go with this furniture plan or layout. You're gonna have 2 chairs right there, my desk, my back is gonna be to the fireplace. I'm gonna be able to look right, I'm gonna be able to look left, I'm gonna be able to look across into the dining room. And so we're going with that. The bar area, all right, these are not the colors of the cabinets, but we're gonna have this really cool like rounded curved like feature, and then this door is actually gonna be opening up to the courtyard where the pool is, all right? And so this big, really sexy chandelier is going to be going in the bar area, and then we're going to have some like really cool kind of like brass lights and another kind of cool fixture. Here's a powder room that's going to be off of that. There's going to be like brass fixtures, like sink area, just some other like feature in the house. There was this area that she wanted to show us, like, okay, we're going to hang art here. That's how the floor is going to be. Then we're going to have this cool like piece of furniture like underneath it. And let me see if I can turn a little bit. The fireplace, all right, the fireplace in the main like living room, it's basically going to be like a 14-foot tall window or wall or room, sorry. And so she's like, we could do something like this. We're gonna have the fireplace, you're gonna have like these big cool like concrete balls in there, but then we can do this like concrete sort of like, it's, I don't know what we call it, it's like scalloped, right? Picture this being like 14-foot tall, the TV mounted up here. Thought that would be really cool, and I'm excited about that. And we'll color it and finish it some neat way. Another powder room situation. She was basically like, do you like this? Do you like this? And once again, this is kind of like inspiration lookbook, and she went room to room. She also had a ton of samples, which I'll put in right there, that basically is showing, she showed us like the material, the tile, the countertops, the cabinets, like all the different colors and everything, so that we could like touch it and feel it. And this was just, like I said, inspiration. She wanted to show us kind of like a railing for the stairwell that she was kind of envisioning. And then for the master bathroom, we're gonna have this like bump out for this like iron and glass enclosed shower area, and just showing us kind of like a tub and some other things there. Laundry room, bar area downstairs. We're gonna have a little wine cellar. It's gonna be like iron and glass. We're gonna have some cool brass fixtures, little bar area. Once again, this is all kind of like inspiration. Another powder room, sort of giving us an idea. Another powder room, upstairs in the bedroom, or I should say bathrooms. Some more sort of ideas like, okay, do you like this or do you like this? And then actually here's the house, right? And the house plan, and she's got all the furniture kind of like laid in it, right? The foyer, little sitting area, the bar area, the dining room, little bathroom, my study or my office, stairwell, bedroom, master bathroom, our closets over here. You've got a little like pantry / scullery, kitchen, eating area, living room, outdoor patio, little area over here to get to the garage. So this is essentially like a floor plan with all of the furniture placed in the sizes that it's actually going to be, so you can get an idea of scale. And then let's see what else. Upstairs did the same thing, and basement, same thing. This is going to be my gym. It's going to be so badass, but that's it. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this cancellation situation. Before I do that, I just want to tell you, this is a business vlog. I know that I do talk a little bit about house stuff because you guys seem to like it, but it's all about you and your business question. So if you have a business question, down below, start it with business question and ask your question. It really doesn't matter what or what part of business. If you've got a question, ask it. I may not know the answer, but I'm going to give it the old college try. Speaking of try, let's talk a little bit now about cancel culture, right? Because we at Tiege Hanley do a really good job working and reaching out to content creators and influencers. Josh at Tiege, he's the head of that, and he's really done an incredible job facilitating a lot of incredible relationships with a lot of these guys that you have come to love and know on YouTube. Well, the other day, I get an email from Kelly, or a text message. He goes, hey, we got contacted by a woman who is upset that we are a sponsor of a particular influencer. Because, and then she said, you know, he's a chauvinist. She basically hates this dude. And this guy is in the kind of like the manosphere, world, okay? He talks about, women and female nature and the problem with modern women and things of that nature, right? It's kind of like, there's a niche, there's a huge, group of channels that talk a lot about that, right? And, a lot of the content is very pro-male, and this piece of content that she was complaining about, he was basically reacting to women and what they were saying on different genres. And it wasn't the most amazing, critique of these women. It wasn't a super feel-good piece. But this woman was very bothered by it. And I'm assuming that it's not the first time his content has bothered her. And so because we were the sponsor of this piece of content, she was reaching out to us to let us know that we should that we should end our relationship with this individual because of the type of person he is, right? And it's a very common situation nowadays. What do you do? How do you handle that? And so Kelly, reached out to me, said, well, what do you think? And we, talked about it. I went and watched the piece of content. And even if it's not my cup of tea and not necessarily something that I would say, it doesn't mean that you should ignore the fact that everybody is kind of entitled to their opinion. It wasn't crossing the line to the point of like saying like you should abuse women and beat women. It wasn't anything like that. It was this individual's opinion, right? And so where do you as a business, where do you as a brand, where do you draw the line? If you are going to bend to every person who doesn't like what you have to say, you are never going to be successful. If you're going to run or retreat or say, I'm sorry, okay, we're going to end our relationship with this guy who's been an incredible partner for us, just because you don't like, you've got to stand for something, right? And so we basically responded as a company and said, we understand that this situation is happening, but we support you. We support your right to free speech. We support your right to have an opinion, and we've got your back kind of thing. There are a lot of companies that wouldn't do that. I've had situations on my YouTube channel where brands have been contacted by people that didn't like what I said, didn't like a topic, didn't like whatever, and they will go after where it hurts, right? Or where they think it's going to hurt you, which is the pocket, right? They're going to go after your sponsors. And you see this situation happen very frequently in society nowadays. Somebody doesn't like something that somebody does, and then all of a sudden it's like, let's boycott this company. Let's end this person's relationship with this company. It's an incredibly, in my opinion, toxic and disgusting thing to do. I'm not saying that you've got to agree with everybody. Of course, you're not going to. But to try to cancel someone, it's this whole culture, right? You don't like something, what are you going to do? You're going to mobilize and you're going to basically try to end this person's career or livelihood. It's sick. It's really fucked up. It's sick. If these people would spend as much time worrying about themselves and things that they can control in their life, as opposed to trying to basically just ruin somebody that they don't like or something that somebody said and take food out of their mouth. Essentially, it's like trying to take food out of somebody's mouth, right? Now, and I'm not saying that certain times, certain things don't cross the line. And I could probably think of 100 times where it's justified to some degree, but the situation that we were facing at Tiege Hanley, we did not feel that it was justified. And we felt that we should stay and support the people that support us. And we were going to make a stand. And so we did. And we support our content creators. But we are also aware that what people say that you are sponsoring does impact and affect your business and your brand. And so if we were, sponsoring people that were like, doing all sorts of like racist stuff, and if we were okay with that, like we feel like there is a line, but the line is not as narrow as some people think. There is a little bit of leeway and gray area that you need to let people be creative. You need to let people, choose their voice, and that's something that for me as a YouTuber, a lot of times companies will partner with me and they are not looking at what I'm saying to make sure that everything I say is 100% kosher and in line with the brand. Now, the bigger the company, a lot of times they are more cautious with what you say or the things that are actually coming out of your mouth. And then, you'll also see situations where companies will be like, or they'll say like the opinions expressed in X whatever do not represent how we feel as a company. Like, you'll see all sorts of disclaimers nowadays. I've had brands that have told me, I've sent them the video like, okay, approve this. And they've been like, yo, this is crossing the line for us. And so, or this is not in line with our brand or what we as a company or culture stand for. And so I have literally had to be like, all right, no problem, I get it. I'll chop their sponsorship section out and I'll use that video, because a lot of times it is some of the more, not clickbaity, but more, racy things that I say in order to generate views and to get, people to watch, because that's what you do as a YouTuber and a content creator. It's all about the view. It's all about the engagement. And when I have crossed that line, it's not even me going back and like fighting it, right? There was even a video that I did recently where I was talking about, can a transgendered male be alpha? And I had a sponsor in that, and it was a really great sponsor, and it was perfect, but they just said, you know what, this is not a line that we want to cross, and it's not something that we want to sponsor. And so I'm like, all right, I don't necessarily agree. I feel like it's a good message. I feel like it's, going to help some people, but that's fine. And so what did I do? I just chopped them out and put the video out there. It doesn't happen often, but you've got to be aware as a content creator that what you say can potentially affect you. You've just got to be aware that what you say can come back and affect you. In this situation, what this individual said, we felt, was his choice. We support him, the content creator. We support the content he creates. And we are not going to bend at every person that has a problem, because if you bend at every situation or circumstance that somebody has a problem, you are going to fail as a person, because you can't live your life that way. In certain times, certain situations, yes, take a stand, but you also need to take a stand when it's the right thing to do, and supporting somebody that supported you, for us, was the right thing to do. The first business question comes from our friend Aiden Lilienthal. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for being here. He says, hi, Aaron. How do you keep track of all of your profits, revenues, expenses, etc. for all of your businesses? Do you have a single app or software that you can individually organize the financials for every business you own? So I'm kind of like old school in that respect, where I've got an assistant, Debbie, who keeps track of everything. All of my expenses, all of the income, like she pulls the reports from everything and basically puts it in one spreadsheet that I get every month. End of the month, I look to see what's going on, and then we take that after it's been approved by me and send it to the accountant. And so that's how. I'm sorry it's not a sexier answer, but it's the honest answer. So just keeping track of it. Every expense that comes in, boom, I send it to her. And she logs it. Some accounts, she has access to the bank accounts, and she'll get in and look at expenses. For one of my companies, for Pete and Pedro, I basically try to expense everything on my American Express, because I get points. And so really that's kind of like where all my expenses kind of end up. She looks at it on a daily basis, imports it into her. It's not sexy and it's tedious, but it's something you need to keep track of, because if you don't know what's coming in, what's going out, and where your expenses are, you will fail. Like, bottom line, because you may think, oh, I've got more money than I do, or you may think that you don't have enough money when you've got more than you do. And so you definitely need to pay attention to that. The last business question, there are only 2 on this vlog. And so if you've got one down below, start with business question and ask it. It's from our friend Gary Hernandez, Self-Defense and Urban Survival. What's up, brother? Good to hear from you. I haven't heard from you in a while. He says, hi, Aaron. My question is, as I get older and more into growing my business, there are people I deal with in business I don't want to be involved with anymore. These people think we're friends when in truth, it's only been a business relationship, and I know they can only hurt my business more working with them. I don't want to look like a dick just stepping away from them, but it's time. Have you had to deal with that lately? So this is a great question, and one that you will probably have to face. People come into your life and they go out of your life. You don't need to have all the people in your life all the time, right? There are people that I'm friends with now that I wasn't friends with 10 years ago, and there are people that I was friends with probably 3 months ago that I really don't have much to do with now. You evolve as a person, people evolve, your business evolves, and the evolution is fine. Trying to maintain all of the relationships when those relationships aren't necessarily beneficial or helpful or productive and healthy is like, you need to let people go. Because if you've only got, the way I look at it, you've only got so much bandwidth in terms of caring, right? It's kind of like The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, that book, right, by Mark Manson. I love that book because what he really talks about is, you've got only so much time, so much bandwidth, so much energy in a day. There are only so many Fs you can give. If you try to worry about everything, worry about everybody, and make sure that everybody is happy, the person that loses, the person that gets left behind is you. Your growth will stagnate by having these unhealthy people or these people that aren't moving you in a more positive, better direction. These people will hold you back and stifle your growth and your professionalism. And it's something that I definitely can relate to because as I've gotten older, more mature, wiser, I realize that it's the relationships that I value more than anything at this point in my life. And realizing that there are still people that I am acquaintances with or people that have worked for me or people that I've been friends with in the past that I don't need to spend or invest any more time, any more energy because it's not good for me. Not good for me professionally, not good for me emotionally, not good for me psychologically, not good for my heart. And so, yeah, you will outgrow people. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Don't feel bad. It's a reality. Now, you don't need to be a dick and be like, I can't talk to you anymore because whatever. What you're going to find, though, or I should say what I find, is that when you start to remove yourself or limit your contact or exposure with people, at first they may be like, hey, what's going on? Or hey, they may keep trying to, when they feel you slipping away, a lot of times people try to hold on tighter. But when they realize that they're not going to get what they got from you and you aren't giving them what they want or what they need or what they expect or what they hope, a lot of times these people will just go away on their own. They kind of just like drift away. Because unless there's something in it for them, a lot of times these people aren't going to stick around, right? It's a very selfish interaction. It's a selfish relationship most of the time. But it's okay. It's fine. It's the way of the world. It's the way of business. It's the way of life. People come, they go, and you've got to make sure that you take care of the number one thing that's the most important thing you take care of, which is yourself and your time. Because those things you can't get more of, right? It's a finite resource. And so you just got to make sure that you protect yourself. People will take advantage of you if you allow them, and they can. And you setting or drawing the line in the sand and being like, nope, you know what? I gotta get away from you in order for me to move to where I need to go that's good for me. Gentlemen, it's something you all will have to face. Don't feel bad about it. Don't feel guilty. It's the evolution and progression of relationships, friendships, and business. Gentlemen, that's where I'm going to wrap things up. You are amazing. And at Tiege Hanley, we love you more, baby, than our double monk strap shoes. Thanks for being a part of this. We love you. See you next week.